Los Angeles. Yes. Los Angeles premiere of not one Vince Vaughn, but two Vince Vaughns for Mike and Nick and Alice. This is a very special moment for us because the writer-director, Mr. Ben David Grabinski, he is a long-time Beyond Fest alumni. We've had him, we've shown his work before, but he was just this guy that used to come to Beyond Fest and he would rent these checkerboard vans and he just came up and he was just like, hey dude, that's a really good show. And I was like, who are you? And he's like, well, I just moved out here to write because I want to make movies and I want to write. And I was like, yeah, we'll see if that pans out. But this is it. This is the LA premiere of his new film. Thank you to 20th Century Studios, not just for making this film, but for making this tonight. It is going to be on Hulu on Friday, March 27th. But it really is. It's a testament to what you can do in the city. It's a testament to Ben David, to all the writers out here, to the people who come out here and have a dream and want to make a movie, and they get to make movies because they're fucking awesome. And I'm going to throw the mic to Mr. Ben David Grabinski because he is awesome. Please, during the film, no phones, no talking, none of that kind of stuff. We hate all the privacy and that kind of stuff. But this film's awesome. If you like gratuitous gunfire, yes. If you like time travel, yes, we've got you. If you like an incredible ensemble cast, we've got you. And as I said earlier, if you want not one but two Vince Vaughns, we've got you. And it is all courtesy of Mr. Ben David Grabinski.
Okay, so I thought I had a really good idea because I don't know if you ever listen to podcasts where someone's promoting a movie and then they keep saying the same anecdotes over and over again, and you're like, oh, I already heard you tell that story. Well, I kind of felt like that about my soundbite intro. Was I shouldn't do that again. It'll feel stale and less earnest. So I wrote a new one. And now I'm like, I don't know why I did that. So if it feels a little stilted and I stumble over it, that's my fault. But I'm just going to get into this. So, all right, look, I need to thank some people who made tonight possible. So, to be clear, this movie is my life. It's everything I love in an hour and 47 minutes. But this movie is what they call a big swing. So, it's rated R. It's based on fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of genres at once. Now, I knew it would be awesome, obviously, but that doesn't mean anything. I needed someone who believed in the movie and believed in me. So, enter 20th Century Studios. So, or to be more specific, enter Steve Asbell and Sarah Shepard. So, I rate studio heads on how much they love Psycho 2. And Steve is the only person I know who loves it more than I do. And it makes sense because it is better than Psycho. He's never said that. He wouldn't say anything as blasphemous as I just did. But I think it's a perfect movie. So Sarah Shepard is the SVP, and she championed this movie every fucking day for years. So they wrote this one script 2 years back and loved what I had to say and decided to go on this adventure with me. So this was a big swing on their part. But as they say, you can't hit a home run without a big fucking swing. So, Steve, thank you. Sarah, thank you. You have my back. You gave me the resources and support I needed to make this insane movie everyone is about to see. I will appreciate it forever. To everyone else involved, thank you. Richard Middleton, thank you. My producer, Andrew Lazar, you're not here, so who gives a fuck? And I thank you a lot at South by. Just to be clear, that's a joke. I love him with my whole heart. He's a great guy. And don't rat me out for those jokes. I'm kidding. I told him I was going to do that. My crew, thank you. My cast, thanks for trusting me and absolutely fucking crushing it. There's so many people to thank. That's why we added credits to the movie. So you see names in the opening and names in the ending. I said, can you put everyone I'm grateful for in some sort of format? And that's what that is. So I want to thank my girlfriend, Chris. I love you. And you're not here, So I hope someone is recording this and texts you a video and you think it's cute and it makes you feel less FOMO. And if you weren't recording it, that is your fault, and I hope it haunts you for the rest of your life. You're supposed to be like your best friends. Okay, thank you, Beyond Fest. I've been going to your events for what seems like decades now, and there's nothing better. Thank you, my Mal sidekick on this roller coaster. Thank you, my reps. They did right by me. Thank you, my publicist. And thank everyone else in the studio in other divisions I didn't mention. If you had any involvement in this movie, I think you're fucking great. So, I gotta wrap this up because I got emotional on stage at South by and it was really embarrassing. I don't want to do that again. But you're about to watch a buddy action comedy with a bunch of surprises. It's a big dumb movie that came straight from my big dumb heart. So, damn it. I got really close. Fuck. Okay, anyway, have fun. It's a fun movie. We'll be back afterwards for an epic Q&A. Thanks.
Please welcome back to the stage the writer, the director, the man that wrote Magical Dick Bird. Is that the line? He killed Dolph Lundgren and Keith David. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ben David Ritchie.
All right, as much as it may seemingly be my movie, what really matters is movie stars. So I'm going to introduce some people who are going to come up to the stage. I'm going to start with the most wonderful actor ever who inexplicably is everything I fucking do, Mr. Stephen fucking Root. And then I'm going to go with a guy, you may know, like Dumbass Tony, who's one of the smartest people I know, Arturo Castro.
Yeah!
And then a extremely dirty cop, determined Canadian, Officer Shearer, Emily Hampshire.
Woo!
All right, and then, I think he was the star of the best show that's ever been on Netflix. You're going to see American Vandal. His name was Jimmy Tate.
Woo!
And the best Alice I've ever known in my fucking life, Daisy Gonzalez.
Woo!
Mike, James Marsden.
Yeah!
And then somehow got this guy to play himself fucking twice this one.
Woo!
It's gonna be chaos. There's so many people, not everyone's gonna get a question, but we're just happy to be here.
Woo! Woo!
It's very organized, and you can blame me. If I make a sequel, there'll be my names on the chairs at the end.
It's on.
Here you go, sir.
Woo!
Full round of applause to this incredible cast. This is going to descend into chaos, so I think we just go in which way we want. But, Ben David, this song is completely lunacy. And you said at the beginning it was all of the dumb things in your dumb brain, you got to put it out on the
So all the things I love.
all the things you love, yeah. Talk us through this, because you have time travel, you have setting on fire, there is a romance in there, which we actually feel, so thank you for that. How did you make this film? Where did this thing come from?
Okay, the simplest version is that I wanted to make a buddy action comedy that I hadn't seen before, and I wanted to make a time travel movie where everyone knew how the time travel worked was dead, so there's no person to do charts and graphs and talk about all that stuff. And what I wanted to do was take an actor who could do anything and have them play the wiser, more enlightened version of themselves, and the person pre that, and then butt heads and be charming and interesting. And that led to this whole premise in the movie people just watched.
What was the writing process like? Because you could have gone down infinite rabbit holes.
I just basically chased every rabbit hole that I thought was awesome. To me, I was just trying to write something that felt really surprising and funny and fresh, and I tried to just shapes creatively what made sense instead of thinking about how difficult it would be to execute, which leads to having to have someone play two people and deal with multiple genres and tones. And I was just trying to make something that I thought was really entertaining and, could attract really talented actors with somebody sit next to me on a stage. So, yeah.
It definitely worked. Vince, welcome back. This is your third Beyond.
Yeah, great to be here again.
Woo!
Santa Monica here at Beyond Fest. Nice to be with everybody.
Yeah!
How was playing this up twice?
I really have to say thank you to David and also to Disney and Fox. How lucky are we to have an original movie made? I read the script just to have an original idea that was its own premise and a tone that was so challenging. It's like, watching someone who's a diver. If you just don't splash the water, you'll probably get a good score. But when you start adding like backflips and twists, so you have comedy, sci-fi, and you got like drama and action. It was very, aggressive, the script in its attempt to tell a story. So David did a hell of a job, and it was really fun to take a ride with him. But it was a learning curve as an actor, right? For me to dive into each scene, because we had to commit to everything to say, what does the action feel like, or what does the comedy feel like, and how do they all marry? So I think he did a hell of a job of putting something original together. So for me, it was fun. It's always fun to do something a little bit different. And I think, playing yourself twice, you just have a little bit more dialogue to memorize. And, change your wardrobe occasionally, and that kind of stuff. But it was fun to do something that was a little bit different. I love that answer. I'm going to say it one more time. So here's what I'm getting.
So opening up that to the rest of the cast, because we have so many people here. How was it acting? How was it acting against not one but two Vince Vaughns? And how did you keep track of this?
It was double the pleasure. Loved it. Well, he handled it with aplomb, but that's I'm sure not a surprise to anybody here. The guy's physical could do the action sequences, obviously the comedy. I looked up to you for so long. Like he said, he described it as so many different types of movies rolled into one here, and it's great to do something that's not risk averse. And actually something that's original and takes, like you said, big swings. And it was just a ball. It was like a big party. And two offenses, yes.
It looks like a party. Was it a party? The rest of the cast, how was it making the film? Because it looks like everyone had a lot of fun.
I think everybody had a blast. It was amazing. Vince and I had done some other films the last few years, but we didn't get to talk to each other. So it was fun to be able to talk to each other in this movie. But everybody's amazing in this movie, don't you think?
Yeah!
I just have to say as an aside, there's a black and white flashback where you see him, he's wearing a crew jacket, and it's from the VFX crew of Baby's Day Out, Baby Out of Time, and then I had a baby with like a spinning clock. They made a time travel sequel to Baby's Day Out. And I own the coat, and it fits me, and I was going to bring it for him to wear tonight, and it didn't fit my suitcase. So that gag, I didn't get to do it. Anyway.
Rest of the cast. Well, actually, before we get to the rest of the cast, Stephen, who dressed you? Was it your own ensemble?
Oh, that was delicious, Ben David.
My costume designer did send me a photo that was Kevin Smith with some giant shorts. It was just legendary. I think this was amazing. And I was like, we gotta get him the Kevin Smith shorts. So when he steps through the door, that's what he's doing.
Jaws? Is that what they're called?
I'm not a scientist. Let me scientist dies in the first scene of the movie, but maybe they are shorts. I have to look that up.
Lots of people died in this movie. Probably you folks down there, terrible deaths. How was it making this fantastic film?
Well, it was, as you could see, pretty fun for our side of the movie.
Jimmy boy!
We were just kind of in this parallel part of the universe to everything that they were doing. So the first time I saw it, it was nice to see the actual movie. I was like, oh, this is what you guys have been on for months. So you can tell yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're pretty much in a party phase the whole time.
We're pretty much in a party phase until the very end, which is still a party phase. So yeah, it wasn't too stressful for our side of the movie.
Well, we had 2 movies we're making. One that was intense, that involved motion control cameras and a bunch of like really elaborate things. And then the movie that Jimmy and Arturo and all them were in, where everyone just played one guy, and then they just tried to be charming and great. So they didn't have to do as much complicated stuff as Mike, Nick, and Alice did.
It wasn't until we got to the last, like, kind of after, what, missing an after,
There's 4 of them, I think you're
and
mad.
then saw the motion control camera for the first time, and I was like, oh, this has been difficult, huh? This has been pretty complicated shit since. Yeah, fun.
And I gotta say, first of all, we're shooting in the romance capital of the world, Winnipeg. I went to acting conservatory for many years, and it all prepared me to this moment, playing Don Mastoni. I gotta say, listen, obviously, it's such an honor to get in the cast with all these guys, and oh my God, but there is a very hard part to doing this, which is keeping a straight face when Jimmy Tatro is like so earnestly talking about his dick to your face, and it's like, it's a night shoot, and we gotta keep going, and I'm like, God, if he sings Beauty and the Beast in my face one more time, I'm gonna die. But the script was already amazing, since the moment you read it, I was laughing out loud, and I'm so grateful to Ben David to have, us all part of the journey. It's so cool.
Yeah. No, that was the thing when I read that script. I wasn't even really in it. I was a boy in that script, and I said, I want to do anything in your movie, Ben David, I'll bring you coffee, and then you made a girl part and gave me the hat.
She took, as a rap gift, she took one of the Cronenberg for President shirts. She was wearing, and it had literal David Cronenberg sign it, and gave me a photo of him signing it to prove she didn't forge his signature, to which I cried. I want to end tangents, I just want to ask Asa, what was it like having to work with 2 Vinces?
Oh my God, it was incredible. I mean, it was just a joy. This movie was unexpectedly challenging and fun, and I think, obviously you see the fun part, but I do want to give a shout out to our team, our crew, all our entire team in Winnipeg, because it was a challenging, I'll walk you through a little bit of how the boring stuff, but if you have to do a wide, and then we have to set bins, and then bins has to change, and then we have to come back, and then we have to all sit in the same place and make sure that we rhythmically are getting the same thing while doing comedy. So as you all know, comedy timing is so specific. And then we have to go into close-ups and we have to make sure that it's right, and we're kind of hitting the same marks that we did, but you still want to find something new in every take that, you're also, it's all about timing and moments and beats. And so I just want to say that was so challenging, and it does make, you have to have really good actors, and I'm not one of them, but everyone around me was. And so that really helps, because it was really wild to see Vince and James, and I didn't get to spend so much time with them talking about their dicks, but it was just, it was amazing to see these fucking incredible actors just, Jesus Christ.
And like, how many times did you drop it? You had Cronenberg sign a shirt, so I'll let it go.
Yeah, but it is a talent, and I do want to say, it looks easy, that is really, really hard, and they kept finding new moments and new beats, and as an actress, that is so exciting. You're just learning, you're just like taking it in, just like absorbing it as a sponge, and it was a crash course in comedy. I'd never done comedy before, ever, so it was just a joyride.
The thing, outside of the technical side of the film, that's obviously really complex. It's a balancing act as well with regards to different tones. We've got comedy in there, we've obviously got the action, but then, as I said at the beginning, there is this relationship, like there's a lot of heart in this film, right? You kept it grounded, you gave us a reason to care, not just about the relationship that you two have, but then also past Nick, when you have that moment and you're like, oh God, yeah, I've lost my best friend. after Stephen shoots Jimmy. Before you talk about that, how you managed, and Ben David, I want to really hear from you as well, because how you managed to keep all of those tones, like you're bubbling all of these parts.
Well, I was
good.
never worried about the funny. What you need to worry about is sort of like the parts that are emotional and human. And like when I watched it, I've watched it like 1,000 times. Like I think this is so fucking funny in it. But the stuff that really sticks out for me is like the vulnerable moments, the human moments. And I think that like having to do that while also having this weird technical shit was just, I just find it like so impressive. And there's no movie if he doesn't feel like he is really fucking sad about this shit. And I just think that balance is like, as much as it's in my head and I know what I need it to be, if they don't kill that, then there's no movie. I mean, do you have any thoughts about the dramatic stuff, Vince?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this. So you have to be committed. That's what's unique about it. Like the comedy has to be committed, the action does, and you know, Ben David has such a vision in his mind that I was trying to catch up to, but I knew you had to really buy in and commit to it. How does it all fit? Going back to that, but you know, I'll just say all these actors are so wonderful that I got to be with. They're very charming and funny, and I mean, Marsden's been so good in so many things for so long, and the physicality he brought and the likability he has, and I don't think the movie works without it, because the stuff that the characters are asked to survive is so hard. It's like one of my problems with the movie was with reading it was like, how do we get past these issues? And I think, you know, in Asa 2, like you've got a complexity, like even in that opening scene where it's strange, there's like a want to connect, but can you pretend to be nice? Like there's such a humanness to you. And I think that's really the secret. I said this to Jimmy, and I feel the same. I really like him and Keith David, and I don't really see them as bad guys. You know, if someone ratted out his son and he wanted to avenge him, it wasn't like they were out hurting people for no reason. So I think he really put together a really fun movie where there's such a likability and an emotional connection to these characters that is surprising, given how jolly and how kind of jovial the movie is in nature.
It really, I was just going to say, the piece that struck me, there's that sequence right before, it's actually right when Stephen comes in, but it's before that, there's the dance that you two have at the wedding, and it's so beautiful. And at that point, it's just like, God, I love these guys. At that point, it feels real, and we want you to win. And then you walk in the door, and then you fill him full of lead. The first time that I saw that, I was like, oh, he just killed it. Like, and that really hurt. And then seeing it with you, so it's beautiful. Did you feel that as you were building out these characters and putting those scenes together?
Yeah, I think, you know, a big part is casting. I think that Vince done something very specific. There's so much that you can do as actors, but I do think that there has to be natural charisma to these characters, and I do think that he did an incredible job across the board. Like, even if there's beats and moments of people, even like the guy at the gas station. It's like everyone is funny and everyone has charisma, and that takes an eye of the director, and I have to give it to Ben David because we didn't really chemistry test or anything. He just had a sense, because I do want to say this, he's such a, in the best way possible, Ben David is a nerd. And very cool nerd. Like the coolest version of a nerd. He's watched every movie, and so when you sit down with Ben David, he doesn't watch movies, he studies them, he analyzes the characters, actors, and whatnot, and so you can tell that that's a see-through line into casting this movie. So we can do all we can, but I do think it takes an eye of how to mix personalities together and charisma together, and that's like an amazing casting director, which you have in Ben David. And we just show up and listen to, okay, pull some gun fingers and do the wave, and we're just like, okay, here we go, and we just kind of go with it, and it just, you have to board the vision. You have to board the vision.
I just say something about James that'll sound like a joke, but it is serious and it is true, and it is, you know, the reality of what happened was you need someone who can be a very, very viable romantic lead who you're rooting for, who's like adorable and complicated and kind of has a history in that genre, but you also need someone to do really complicated choreography, because I wanted the guy to feel like this efficient mercenary who's tactful and focused. And I was watching Hairspray on a plane.
Woo!
And I was watching dancing scenes, and I had a very, very strong hot take, which is that musical choreography and action choreography are indistinguishable. Which is that if you can do dancing choreography, you can fucking do John Wick. And if I'd say anything, I think I was proved correct because I think that I said just treat it like any other choreography, and he did. And I think the scene when he comes in and the Andrew WK song and just wrecks the room, that is just, to me, that's indistinguishable for Hairspray, but that's also just my brain.
See what I mean?
Never think of an instance where those two movies would be related. You definitely get the dancing out of me, I think.
We also show the dancing. I would always have them do the Burt Reynolds take. We would do like scenes where he dances Burt Reynolds to the characters. Burt Reynolds just technically, I think his biggest gift is his Burt Reynolds impression. So if I could do a Burt Reynolds cut of the movie where every time he's doing a Burt Reynolds riff as my, but anyway.
You referenced Andrew WK. Music is such a huge part of this.
Andrew WK's not super right. But anyway, that song's really good.
Woo!
There's a lot of songs in the movie. There's 29 of them, and they're all my fault. Especially Dave Matthews is strip club.
Write that down. Dave Matthews in the strip club. What is wrong with you? Yes. Let's talk about the music. As you're writing, is the music going in? Do you go back in and put a bunch of music?
My composer Joe is here somewhere.
Shout out.
So I wrote all the songs in the script and ended up using about 60% of them. Like obviously all of our companies gonna be there because we in advance. I mean it's the most normal way to open a buddy action comedy is singing a song from all of our company. But you gotta figure out that in the basis in advance. Luckily it was the first thing we did on the movie is I had the studio clear that song way before we were greenlit or anything. Way before they decided they were gonna do a reunion. You and I are both big waste guys. And if the reunion had been planned, I know it would have been able to.
Yeah, that would have blown the budget.
But yeah, it's like, you have a bunch of songs you think will work, and then some don't, and some do. And then a lot of it was just me and Mal sitting in my office. We did post in New York, and I would watch action scenes and just keep playing songs. And so one time I was playing it, and it's like, I played The Boys Are Back in Town. I was like, oh. And it's also works because the boys are back in town. And I tried a million songs, nothing worked. And I tried, the NWK song, and I was like, oh, fuck. And someday that'll be in all our marketing. I didn't say that, but it ended up being all our marketing. But it is because I think it's awesome. But the music is my favorite thing. It also really helps with tone. Sometimes the music makes it funnier. Sometimes the music makes it more badass. Sometimes it makes it emotional. And sometimes you play a Dave Matthews song in a strip club. Which does not happen in real life because some movies are not real life. But it's a duty question. I'm talking about Dave Matthews.
No, I want to get into this. Dave Matthews have to clear the usage in the strip club.
That guy rules because he did. I mean, every song that's in there, someone had to say yes to. They didn't say no, or else you wouldn't have heard it tonight. That's a finished movie. Right? It was funny. I was like, will they say yes? And a friend of mine was like, I tried to get them to do my movie, and they just passed for creative reasons. Guess what?
Dave Matthews is dirty boy.
No, he just is like, that's cinema. I think worse than Dave Matthews found. But, he said yes, so.
Pop Rose should just happy for check.
Actually, that was already funny. Yeah, that's the delegate 1 hour Q&A. We're moving the fuck on.
We'll get back to that one. We're getting that signal really quickly. I want to go, because this scene does look like a blast, and I want to work our way down. Best moment on set, all the way down. Stephen, let's start with you. Outside
Best moment on set was me grilling James about jury duty. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Watching Vince in it's a gas station improvising with the gas guy.
Wait, so you're saying improv in there? Like how much of that was script or?
I really
It's
prefer it.
Vince, secret, was that on you?
There was most of it was in the script. Sometimes you play around and we all come up with stuff for each other. But David had a pretty good script. There was stuff that everyone, but with the comedy, it's pretty normal in play parts. So.
I never could have written like a vegetarian hot dog. But it looks and it tastes. There's maybe 18 lines in there that I really wish I wrote, and I forever will wish I had. So thanks for that, Vince.
I would say my favorite moments on set were listening to Keith's favorite stories. You know, like that silver, beautiful voice of his, like telling you he's been working since the 80s. And that was just such a masterclass in storytelling, honestly.
He's like, you gotta go to Tony Roma's. That's more ribs. I love Tony Roma. I would say probably the scene when we were doing the cocaine. There's a lot that ended up on the floor of that, but we were kind of getting more and more amped up on fake cocaine. That ended up being a lot of fun.
Mine was just, you know, we shot how many nights in a row?
42 nights in a row. Movies that such shit. There's just 42 straight nights, and this is how wonderful everyone was, is you never watch it thinking that they shot 42 straight nights in a row.
42, but we did. Oh, we did. And my favorite part was throughout those 42 nights, we'd be like shooting 20, and then Jimmy would pop out of nowhere and be like, how's it going? I'd be like, good, my guy. Where you been? Like, I was just in LA. I'm back. I'm back to LA. That's great. And then I would come again in 30 days. And that kept happening. And so the last day, he like walks in with like glass like stuck everywhere. He's like, where you been? I'm like, here, motherfucker. I've been in LA. This is my last night. It's crazy. So that was my favorite. I was like, wow, somehow he's made the movie as much as we did. We were there 40 fucking 2 nights. Jamie was in LA.
So I got voicemails from Keith David calling to check in whenever he left, and we were like making the A movie, and he'd just be like, hey man, I miss everyone, how's it going? How's all this stuff going? And I just have them all saved forever. It's like Keith David was having such a good time that he was just checking in. Whenever he gets sent back to LA, we go back to the main movie, and then he'd come back, and he just wanted to see how everything was going.
Speaking of going back to LA, though, when I was that scene on covered in glass, I had to go directly from shooting that to the airport. So you go to LA, I went to a wedding in New York.
Sorry.
But, yeah, so. We literally waited to shoot it until the very end of that at 5 a.m. I had to be on plane in like 1.5 hours. And I'm about to get covered in blood. So we got all the glass off as quickly as we could and wiped me down. I just went straight to the airport and arrived in New York like, whoa.
And then we kept shooting.
James.
I mean, so many, but Dolph Lundgren come in for a day, and party a huge hole in his head. It's kind of fun.
Also, want to say, I bumped into him at a party. I said, hey! He goes, who are you?
Just about to talk about what a nice guy he was.
We did movies together? He said, oh, great. Oh, well, she's in the movie. I was like,
But yeah, so many. I mean, I love doing the fight scenes with Vince. It was a blast, and it's no small feat. He's 6'6". 6'5". I'm 5'10" at best. Physics was against me, but I loved all the choreography. Those were fun days. I'm going to go on, but the scene where we're singing Oasis in the car was one of the more challenging moments too, because it was like we were all talking about the tone of this movie from the beginning. Like, what is the tone of this movie? There's so many elements and so many components woven into this tapestry, and it's a real impressive feat that they pulled all of this off. Because sometimes, you do a big action movie and you don't necessarily care about some of the other stuff. And if you ask the audience to buy into the logic of a time machine, and they commit to that logic, and you can have fun with the fights and the choreography and all the kind of crazy monster stuff. And then if you ask them to invest emotionally, that's a really, really hard thing to do. And you pulled it off. And that scene specifically, it was like, how are we singing as loud as at the top of our lungs? It's this joyous, it's, I mean, you know, it's a complicated emotions going on through that scene, but it just ended up being, I think, really perfect. But you threaded the needle on this movie with so many things, and my hat's off to you, and I'm so proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
Is there any questions from you guys? I always like to hear questions from people. Go ahead.
Hi, this is a question for Ben David. I was wondering the armor selection process. So in the movie, you had a lot of iconic firearms. I was wondering, is this something you have in mind when writing, or is this something the armor is just?
The question was about all the arsenal of weapons.
Well, then you pick all those guns, really planned what was the reasoning. So what happened was, it's tough as it sounds, a million meetings. I love prep. You have a million meetings with armor and your guys, and you say, I want to have their own gun. And they go, well, that's too expensive. I'm like, well, okay, well, kind of half of them have their own gun, and you figure out just sort of visually how to set all that up. I want to go back to the thing there because I didn't get to talk about my favorite thing. It's both heavy and probably interesting. My favorite thing was I was really going through it in prep, and just to get dramatic for just a second, a friend of mine died first day of prep, and I gave him a hospital after him. And then the last week of prep, my cat died.
Oh my
I was
God.
really fucked up about it. And my girlfriend had found him under a dumpster and raised him, and then he passed. And my way of honoring Toby was to write a monologue for one of my favorite actors about my cat who died, but then make it about Jimmy Boy.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Sitting on set watching those two actors fucking crush it and do one of my favorite things ever, and also having it be about my cat was that's what movies are about. You make movies so that you can process your bullshit and turn it into a really funny scene. And then the guns, yeah, I picked a bunch of cool guns. So
Forever, right?
Oh, so my question is about Gilmore Girls. What went through your mind to make such an important moment dealing with the ideas of who should be with who? Because it's such an emotional moment, but it's also very funny.
So this question is about the Gilmore Girls. He's asking Ben David what went through his mind.
I have a very simple answer to that. It works on 3 levels. One, almost everyone has a show or piece of media they watch because their partner loves it, whether it's Vanderpump Rules or, Pretty Little Liars, whatever the fuck. There's something you watch because you love someone and you got invested in it because they love it. 2, I love the idea of a bunch of guys around a room debating about who's the best partner for a girl and all vying to be the best partner for the girl, not realizing they're doing that. 3, I had to set up the fact that she's going to be a single mom, so you do a show about a single mom. So I'm hitting 3 bullseyes at once, and also I just want to say in a movie that Logan was the best partner for Rory, which is true. And that's
You're a Katie Holmes.
I mean, me and Keith David are. So I watched the movie a million times. And on set, I realized Keith David's like, it's my favorite show. And he's a cat dad. So that got roots.
Wow. All right. One more. Right over. Yeah.
Hello. So what was the hardest action sequence to film for this movie?
Hardest action sequence to film.
Sassy actors.
Well, some of them were easy because they kind of use stunt doubles. Some of them were hard because we were actually out there busting our ass. Yeah, it was cool. It was just different, Some of it was me and James and doing stuff, and then other times it was professionals.
I'm going to close this out by saying, can everyone please give another round of applause for these actors?
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!